So thank you for allowing me the opportunity to come up here. I very much appreciate it. I have two questions, and I'll ask them both at the same time. I think they probably relate to each other.
Can you hear clearly?
Yeah, well, in some way. And I'll ask the one that's more personally difficult first. My wonderfully brilliant, creative, talented 16-year-old daughter came to me about a year ago and declared matter-of-factly that she's a boy. And she is brilliantly happy, content, living the way that I think we all want to live. And I want to encourage her and accept her in her life and allow her to become who she is.
Allow her to be who she is.
Who she is. It's difficult, though, for 16 years or 15 years. She's been my little girl, and now she's not anymore. And it's hard for me to sort of allow her or to facilitate for her or let her be who she is when I still have that perception of her.
When you think about it, that's true of everyone who is moving along. Esther has a picture on her phone of granddaughter Kate, who just turned 16. And in this picture, she's 5 and holding a great big cookie. And so proud to be holding up this great big cookie, and there's a part of Esther that wants her to go back there and be that again, because there's sweetness and wonderfulness all along the way. And so there is a sort of reluctance to let go of the delicious past unless you are pointed toward the delicious future, or unless you are devouring the delicious now. I just want to soften a little bit, because you are superimposing more trauma for yourself over this subject than is necessary, because you would be feeling some of this anyway.
For sure.
Yeah.
There seems to be an impasse in my psyche with this gender issue. It doesn't quite allow me to progress the way I might if this hadn't happened. And, obviously I can't change the circumstance, but I don't want to see her, I don't want to love her any less. And I don't, but there's something in the way somehow. I don't know. And what you said, that this would be happening anyway, some element of this is absolutely true. I recognize that.
Well, there's a bigger conversation, there's a bigger issue that this is pointing to. And what that is that as a perceiver of things standing in a human body, there is a sort of abnormal desire on the part of all humans to want stability, to want some things to remain in a way that I can get my thoughts around them. In other words, most people don't want to be very flexible with their life experience. And there is something so big and important about that, because you've got to be flexible with your life experience, because you can't stand still. Because in every moment of every day, experiences are giving you desires that you then must move toward. You just cannot stand still, nor can anyone else. So sometimes, a lovely woman sat in the hot seat just a little bit ago and described a child who came with a determination to be different enough that you had to not try to pigeonhole her into a place in order to be happy. And this is the same conversation. I will not be pigeonholed for your satisfaction. Such an important thing for deliberate creative beings to understand, that sometimes there are powerful agreements that say, I'm going to surprise you and you're going to adapt and you're going to like the adaptation. Not you're going to love me anyway. You're going to like the personal exposure to becoming an adaptive being that I'm going to provide for you. Not, I'm going to be one thing and you're going to love the one thing, and then I'm going to be another thing and you're going to love the other thing. That's not the attitude. That's not the intention. It's that I'm going to be a catalyst for you to be flexible in your perceiving of this world.
Well, I got the 1-2 punch on that. I got an avalanche of that because 6 months ago my girlfriend left me for another woman. So it's coming hard and heavy. So.
So the punchline is, things are not as they seem to be. Things are not as they appear to be. But what's a deeper punchline than that?
I'm not sure.
I will ask no one to be a particular way in order for me to find balance in my life. I will allow everyone in my life experience to be as they choose to be, and I will choose balance anyway. I will not get locked in to past perceptions. I will be flexible in my evolving understanding of things. This is something really big that you are asking for.
I feel relief in you saying that because I can sense that it's absolutely true.
We have a question or two for you, and we're over time already for this segment, but we want to experience the value of this while we're all perched right here. So we have just a question or two for you. We want to find an easy way into this. Nothing hard about it, but just a natural, easy way into this. Do you feel, just in general, as a human enjoying exposure to life, do you feel susceptible or tied in a strong way to others?
Very much so.
And do you see that as beneficial or hindering?
No,
It does hinder, doesn't it?
it can.
Do you also feel some autonomy?
Yes.
But do you feel more autonomy, which self-sufficiency, flexibility, or do you feel more desire and need for stability and sameness and understanding?
Ooh, I kind of walk the fence there.
Yeah, well, most everybody feels some of each, but
Yeah.
can you feel that in your early life experience there was enough instability
Yes.
that you craved some stability?
No question.
So you wanted, needed, did your best to demand, although not in an overt way, but for the world as best as you could control it to behave in a way that soothed you.
Absolutely.
And now can you feel that that was wrong-headed because that was sort of looking for stability in all the wrong places?
Yes.
And so isn't it nice that the people who love you most are sort of helping you loose up those rusty pipes a little bit? Yeah.
Yeah.
And aren't the conversations that we've been having here together, haven't they been freeing for you?
Wonderful.
Every
Yes.
one of them.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this is a good thing. Good thing for you to acknowledge you're in a really good place. Really, you are.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. I'm here for fun tuning.
It's good. Fun tuning.
Fun. So my first question I have not heard the answer to, but I've heard you talk about it. When Jerry transitioned, did he get thrown off into the bushes?
Yes.
Very nice.
Now you've activated Jerry.
And you did earlier, telling the wonderful story about him.
Yeah.
I love the stories that you tell, that Jerry and Esther, that Abraham has free rein to tell the stories of all the wonderful coincidences. The last time I got to sit with you, we talked about Jerry and Esther and Tracy in Boston and that wonderful experience. And I also...
Well, it was the first time that Esther realized that there's a stream of consciousness. She thought she was individual consciousness. She didn't even really realize that she had more opportunity to be in physical form. And as they were landing, for those who don't know what he's talking about, we said to Esther, you will really like Boston because you hung around here last. So Esther immediately told Jerry and Tracy, we were here. And then they wanted to know who they were. And we said, when you stand before the statue that is you, you will know. And then they were really excited. There's a statue. There's a statue. There are statues in Boston that represent us. And so even though it was very late, it was 1 o'clock in the morning, they dumped off their bags and began walking around, standing in front of statues, waiting to see if they knew. And when they stood in front of the statue of Samuel Adams, all three of them said, I was Samuel Adams. And then they all three looked at each other and argued, not you, me, not you, me. And we said, the energy that is now within all three of you was at that time right there, which opens up all kinds of trouble. Thank you very much. But it does help you to know. So what's up now? That's going way back. What do you want to talk about now?
So I want to forget everybody's in the room. And I want to talk, wow. I have to say that sitting here is the most incredible experience I've had in my life. Just the alignment.
Well, you were warmed up for it to begin with. And so it's logical that there could be some vibrational melding or influence. So you are describing being under the influence of your own well-being. That's why it feels satisfying. Satisfaction is really what you're reaching for at all times, because satisfaction means that your desires and your intentions are all moving in the same direction. A desire doesn't have to be completely closed in on, or let's say closed in on and manifested all the way. A desire doesn't have to be manifested all the way in order to be completely satisfying. You just got to be moving in the direction of it. Yes?
Yes. So one of the things I would like to create in a life is around film and television. And I have... Because I love telling stories.
Because you believe in the influence of man using his physical senses. In other words, you believe right now that that's your greatest form of influence. It isn't, but that's what you believe.
So my greatest form of influence is being in alignment?
Yeah. Do you believe in your own ability to broadcast? Because you just said to us that this feels like a really wonderful state of being right here and now. And it's because there's a broadcasting station going on that you are in complete reception of, broadcasting and receiving. So we're just playing with you a little bit and asking you for just a little while to accept the broadcasting of vibration from broader perspective.
So one of the things you've said is around the idea of, if we want a change to happen in the world, we don't have to do it, but if we hold that beingness, that we will often see it come into the world.
If you hold it steadily, you will for sure see it come into the world. But few people hold it steadily because they let what they see in the world influence what they broadcast. You have to find it and know it and not focus against it, and then it becomes. Most people are observers and therefore regurgitators.
So be playful, share my love.
When you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on, you always feel playful. Then and only then you understand that there's nothing serious going on.
Nothing serious.
Nothing serious going on. We are at the end of the time for this segment. We've enjoyed this immensely. It's a good time for a segment of refreshment.